Hi, everyone. It's Jen, and it's Tuesday. Let's talk about it. This week has only just begun, and we've already had so much excitement. Stay close, and I'll tell you all about it. This week was a bit of a whirlwind for me personally and professionally. I can feel change in the air. I've got some studio updates that will hopefully inspire you to be a part of that change yourself. Practice 4 Bikram classes a week for 4 weeks. This is a great time to challenge yourself to get back to yoga or to get more yoga into your week. Life can get so busy and it's easy to put your mental and physical health last. Join us for our most recent challenge and see that it's not about cramming classes in. It's about developing great habits that you incorporate into your routine every day. And in addition to physical and mental benefits that you will get from upping your yoga game, we've got some fun swag for the students who complete the challenge. Bikram says, what are you waiting for? So let's get to work. We're offering an unlimited month of yoga for $199. Click the link above or below to purchase this limited time offer. Your package starts when you take your first class. Yoga during a pandemic has been expensive for everyone. What is the number one reason students don't return to the studio? Yes, safety is a recurring question on everyone's mind, but the main 2 reasons for not coming back, time and money. This yoga practice has always been for everyone, but the restrictions made it difficult for us to charge the old rates and still keep our doors open. Good news, we heard you. We have lowered our prices and we have added a few pricing options that will fit a tighter budget. Check out the same link above or below and view our discounted offers. Fox 5 DC Entertainment News anchor Kevin McCarthy came by the studio to interview me about mental health and yoga. Take a look.
Well, in honor of Women's History Month, Fox 5 is highlighting female business owners in the D.C. region. Today, we are heading to Alexandria, Virginia, to a local yoga studio there. That is where we find Kevin McCarthy with much more. Hey, Kev, good morning.
Hey, good morning to you. Yeah, we are here in Alexandria, Virginia, off of Eisenhower Avenue at Bikram Yoga Alliance. I'm here with Jennifer Rochelle, who is the owner. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
We're here to talk about Bikram Yoga. So first of all, before we get into the business itself, explain to our audience specifically what Bikram Yoga is. I know it's hot yoga, but it's the original 90-minute yoga.
That's right. Bikram Yoga is the original hot yoga. 90 minutes, 26 postures, 2 breathing exercises. It's always the same, but because you come into the room, it's different every time.
And the temperature in that room, which we're going to get to shortly, is 105 degrees.
105.
But talk about specifically, so you're a local business owner. During the pandemic, you've been open for many, many years now, but during the pandemic, you actually had to pivot to virtual classes, and then we'll kind of get into the how limited the studio space got to, but
Sure.
What was the virtual environment like?
So we turned around, right? As soon as the governor said that we needed to shut down, we knew that people still needed relaxation methods. We knew that they still needed to get to this yoga. So we used Zoom and we asked our teachers to teach these 90-minute sequences online. So we offered the classes online and the students showed up. Sometimes we had 90 people sign up to take a class with us.
That's amazing. All right, we're going to walk down to the studio here. So one of the things that's really interesting about this is that the studio space you're about to see would normally hold about 50 people per class. That's a 90-minute class. But now you're down to 9 plus an instructor. So while Mike is showing your studio right now, talk about how you had to change this space to meet the COVID standards.
So if you look on the floor here, you can see these dashes that go along the floor like a runway, right? Those are 50 different dash marks that students could have stood their mat right in front of. Now we have social distancing circles that are 10 feet apart, so the students can set their mat down safely 10 feet away from somebody
with no mask.
And practice with no mask. So they wear their mask all the way up to their mat, take their mask off, practice for 90 minutes without the mask, and then they put their mask back on to leave the studio.
And you're 10 feet in between another person, so
Right.
That's actually going with the guidelines as well. But I mean, you probably couldn't do this with a mask on, right? in 105-degree heat. That would be crazy.
We
right?
have had a few students be uncomfortable being unmasked, so they have practiced. And because the sequence is very breathing driven, they can do it.
Now, obviously, this is a great thing for mental health.
It is.
One of the most important things about the pandemic in the sense of keeping your mental health and keeping your physical health, and you had people going online, watching virtual classes, but why do you feel Bikram Yoga Alliance and just the Bikram Yoga in general is important for mental health?
You slow down. You take your time for yourself. You slow down and you focus for 90 minutes on your breathing to do something that is very challenging. And you have a teacher who guides you through it. So you don't really have to think. You can meditate. You can trust that you got yourself there and that the teacher's doing the thinking for you for 90 minutes.
So as a local business owner, in the last 30 seconds, what are you hoping for in the next coming months? We have the vaccines now. I know that that rollout has begun and people are getting the vaccines. So as a business, you go from having 50 people in this space to having 9 plus a teacher plus the virtual environment. What is the hope for the next coming months?
So the hope is that everybody goes and finds out what the vaccine means for them and then takes the necessary steps to get vaccinated or to protect themselves if they can't get vaccinated. And then businesses can open up and be available. Because we'll keep classes on the schedule for people who are uncomfortable with getting the vaccine and uncomfortable with being around people close by. But we need to open up and be 50 people in the room, at least some classes.
Yeah. And Jennifer, Rochelle, we have to wrap up, but can you give a website for your location real fast before we go?
Sure. We're at www.bikramyogaalliance.com.
That's awesome. Well, Jennifer, Rochelle, thank you very much. I appreciate your positive energy this morning. Thank you for what you're doing for everybody in the community and for mental health specifically. People need this right now, and obviously they're doing the best they can to pivot and still deliver this business to the locals here in the Alexandria area. Thank you so much, Jennifer, Rochelle. Have a great day.
Bye.
Back to you in studio.
If you've been practicing with our fantastic team of teachers over the last few months, you've probably been told to sit down in 3 Bikram yoga postures: awkward, eagle, and triangle. Give me 1 moment to transform my set into a yoga studio. Right foot steps out 6 inches apart, the heels invisible behind the toes, perfect, and arms up parallel to the floor. Really important to create balance for the lower half of the body, that the arms are nice and strong. And then you got to sit down. And so, you got to sit down. That is so high. Sit down. Hips touch the chair. So when you keep your hips high like that, you need to lean your spine more forward to bring the hips down. Bring body weight into the heels, bring the hips down more, and lean your spine more forward. The more forward you lean your spine, the more you can bring your hips down. Good. Now we're going to talk about the eagle pose. Eagle, you get your arms up. Right arm under the left arm. Good. You cross the arms. Keep the arms nice and tight together and pull your elbows down, then sit down. You got to sit down lower. You can't stay high. You have to sit the hips down lower and then stay down there. You have to lift the leg up high. The tip really to stay down in eagle pose is, the tip for staying down in eagle pose is to lift your leg up higher. The higher you lift your leg, the more room you create for the twist. You might have to turn your hip to get your foot behind the calf muscle. You have to turn your hip to stay down and to get the foot behind the calf muscle. But to stay down, you really have to get your leg up high. You got to sit down more. You got to sit down more. Good. Good. That was good. Stay down there. Very challenging, but it has a lot to do with abdominal strength. You have to use your stomach in the posture. Ooh, triangle. Here we go. You got to step your right leg out 4 feet. If it's too wide or it's too narrow, you'll have a harder time getting the hips down with stability. Right here, my step is a little too wide. So I'm going to adjust my step. Adjusting the step so that, and you see, it's hard to keep the hip down with stability. Yeah, you adjust the step a little bit and then you have to sit down. You can't stay high. You have to sit down. You have to push through the resistance that you're feeling in the hips and to sit down. It's too high right now. The hip has to come down. Yes, down. There it is. Perfect. Nice thigh bicep parallel to the floor. And then you move your arms both at the same time. Right elbow in front of the right knee, fingertips between the big toe and the second toe. Nice triangle shaped gap between the upper body and the thigh. That's what you need to open up the hips. This was Jen's Tips.